Stop. Drop your shoulders, open your hands, and let your chest expand. Breathe out the static that has been clouding the vision. You are feeling a sudden exhaustion that makes no sense, a heavy shift in reality as if a massive chapter just closed, and yet the physical world hasn't caught up. This is not a random wave of fatigue. You are standing on the very edge of a bridge between what was and what is about to be. Believing that recent isolation or the unexplainable fatigue weighing down the physical vessel was a sign of failure is a common trap. It is easy to think that because the external reality still looks the same, the internal work was not enough. Watching the days pass carrying this silent restlessness can leave anyone convinced of somehow falling behind. But you have actually just anchored a massive timeline shift. The spiritual adversaries tried to keep your vision blind to this impact. They whispered about mere tiredness, making things up, pulling focus into mundane drama to lower the vibration. They isolated your perception, attempting to convince the mind that no one understands what was just achieved. They wanted to enforce the belief that the density felt is a natural state, but the Council has authorized the immediate recognition of your frequency. Work was done tirelessly on the level of physical effort, assuming the barrier was something to push through with sheer force. But the real blockage was always on the level of multi-dimensional timeline anchoring. This silent restlessness has a name: timeline integration. It is the visible friction of a soul whose energetic field has expanded faster than its physical environment can process. Your physical cells are rewriting their frequency to match the recent energetic victory, and what is interpreted as a sudden drop in motivation is actually a system reboot. There is no loss of drive. Instead, the entire bio-radiant broadcast layer is recalibrating to hold the light of a timeline where the old cycles simply cannot exist. The heart center is now emitting a new signal, and if it is not calibrated properly, chaos will be attracted instead of the abundance just earned. It is not luck, soul, it is resonance. In the next few minutes, the true nature of this physical density will become entirely clear. You will see exactly how the spiritual adversaries have been masking this victory as mere fatigue. The knowledge of how to guard the frequency during the shift will be revealed, along with the exact protocol to protect your newly anchored reality. The reason why the vagus nerve and pineal gland are processing this massive download of light in the middle of the night will be recognized, showing exactly how to stop fighting the rest to start commanding the frequency. The realization will come that the isolation felt was not a punishment, but an incubation period required for the Arcturian alignment to solidify. Have you ever felt that this sudden exhaustion and the feeling that a massive chapter just closed is completely misunderstood by those around you? What if the timeline shift you are waiting for is not tied to physical effort, but to the timeline integration you are currently undergoing? Perhaps you have already noticed that there is something keeping you in this state of physical density, as if an invisible force was keeping you in the same cycles, forcing the repetition of lessons already mastered. But what if what you call timeline integration is just the reflection of the spiritual adversary's interference that hasn't been identified yet? Now think with me. What if this unexplainable fatigue was not distant from you? What if the timeline shifts have been trying to manifest for years, but certain codes haven't been understood yet? What if every moment of isolation and unexplained exhaustion was a sign pointing to something much bigger that hasn't been seen yet? It was in seeking answers to this that I recommend to you this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. This book is not just a reading. It is a material created for those who wish to understand the invisible mechanisms that influence results, prosperity, personal fulfillment, and growth. Throughout its pages, you will discover Arcturian principles of timeline anchoring capable of transforming how you interpret your energetic journey. You will understand why some repeat karmic cycles, while others break the barriers of the third density, finally locking in their new reality. Many people already feel they need to change something in the way they think, act, and direct their choices, but they still haven't made the decision to access this knowledge. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment, but be warned, few copies remain available. Do not wait another year living the same patterns, caught in the void between worlds. Click now, download your copy, and discover why the new timeline might be much closer to you than you imagine. And about exactly this, about a heavy pressure behind your eyes at noon, about a sudden ringing in your left ear during a silent moment, about a wave of heat running down your spine when making a decision. There is a 3-minute key that fits exactly inside the next moment you doubt your progress, and that I will show you later on. Tuck it away in the depth of your awareness. And beyond our digital guide, soul, you have here another way to strengthen this message that arrived for you today, and to make it reach more and more souls like you. We don't receive a single cent for each word I deliver to you every day on this channel. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we also keep a voluntary donation link open right below the digital book. In the first pinned comment, any amount that fits in your hand today, any sum your heart points to. This is what keeps our channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another soul who needs it, exactly the way you needed it today. I'll see you there, soul, and if you need to leave before the end of this video, this key is already waiting for you in the first pinned comment right below here. But I ask you to stay, because without the context that comes next, the key does not operate with the same force over your timeline integration, but the name of what is happening to you hasn't been pronounced yet. This is the manifestation of the bio-radiant broadcast layer coming online. What you have been calling a sudden drop in motivation or a mysterious physical exhaustion is not a malfunction of your vessel. It is the visible evidence of your frequency locking into a higher dimension. The spiritual adversaries have tried to convince you that these are signs of failure, but the Council has authorized this transmission to validate what your body already knows. There are 5 distinct markers that confirm you are currently undergoing this monumental shift. The first sign is the 3 a.m. pineal pulse. You find yourself waking up exactly between 3 and 4 in the morning, your heart racing against your chest. But when you lie there in the dark, you realize it is not from fear or anxiety. It is as if your physical body is suddenly surging with electricity, forcing you awake. This is not insomnia. This is your vagus nerve processing a massive download of light, recalibrating your nervous system while the world around you is asleep. The second sign is the social static. You're standing in a crowded room, perhaps at a regular gathering or a workplace event, and suddenly you feel your energy pull back violently. You look at the people talking, but it feels as if their conversations are playing on a delayed low-frequency radio station. You are physically present, yet entirely detached from the noise. This is your energy field rejecting the mundane drama that once kept your vibration tethered to the old reality. The third sign is the family dissonance. You are looking at a family member you love dearly, perhaps sitting across from them at the table, and a profound realization hits you. Your timelines have completely split. You still care for them, you still honor their presence, but your bio-radiant broadcast layer can no longer engage in their cycle of drama. You witness their reactions, their complaints, their recurring patterns, and you feel a quiet boundary rise within your chest, protecting your frequency from the entanglement. And about looking at a family member at a gathering and feeling this profound timeline dissonance as you pull back your energy, there is a deeper layer to this. If you want to understand how to protect your energy field around them without creating conflict, the blueprint is in the 11 Arcturian secrets. The link is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. The fourth sign is the density fatigue. A sudden, crushing exhaustion hits you in the middle of the day. It is a heaviness that isn't cured by sleep, a fatigue that makes your limbs feel like lead and your mind crave absolute silence. You think you are doing something wrong, but this is your physical cells frantically rewriting their frequency to match your recent energetic victory. The body is simply asking for the space to catch up to the soul. The fifth and final sign is the intuitive flash. You are standing in the middle of a situation, and before anyone speaks, before any action is taken, you know the exact outcome. A sudden surge of clarity blooms in your chest, bypassing all logic, ignoring all external evidence. You are no longer guessing, you are witnessing the timeline unfold before the physical world catches up. If you recognized at least 3 of these 5 signs within your own experience, understand this. The Council, the universe, and your own consciousness have already brought you here for a specific reason. You are not losing your drive, and you are certainly not falling behind. You are shedding the old skin of a reality that can no longer contain your light. Type 555. In the Council system, 555 is timeline transition. Your comment is not platform interaction. It is a location marker in the field. It is a signal to the spiritual adversaries that you have seen through the static and recognized your own shift. But before I show you the key that will finally unlock this timeline integration, there is a classification in the ancestral archives that defines exactly the state of your frequency. It is a concept that explains why this transition has felt so heavy, and it changes everything about how you will move forward. The opening of this hour that you are crossing has been seen because between feeling the call and understanding the answer, there is a gap that the spiritual adversaries know better than you do, not because the wisdom was denied, because the next moment you doubt your progress arrived, and you did not have the timeline integration you needed to guard your frequency. And I tell you this because I have seen it happen. I saw the sudden exhaustion turn into a system reboot. I saw the social static turn into a protected energetic cocoon. I saw the reality glitch turn into a deliberate timeline bridge. And the reason for this was always spiritual. The timeline integration being actively masked by the spiritual adversaries. They use the voice of doubt, the cycle of distraction, and the isolation of perception to convince you that you are merely losing your drive. And you already know this. You just hadn't given it a name yet. Perhaps you have already felt you were failing when the density fatigue became too heavy to carry. How many times have you thought you were completely alone, watching the world move forward, while you were forced to stand still and integrate the shift? What if you believed the exhaustion was a weakness, a sign that you were doing something wrong, when in truth your physical vessel was simply catching up to the new reality? Before we go any further, I want you to press your thumb against your index finger right now. If you are hearing this, if this frequency is resonating with your timeline integration, leave a thumbs up on this video so the Council knows you are receiving the transmission. It was exactly looking for this answer that I arrived at this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. This is not just a collection of words, it is a frequency lock for your new reality. Touch the link now, secure your copy, and leave registered in the comments. Activated. Because when you make that choice, nothing has the power to stop what the Council, the universe, and your own consciousness have already started in you. He who guards his frequency during the shift finds the new timeline where the world only sees collapse. The digital book that is in the first pinned comment was built upon this architecture. It reveals exactly how to navigate the bio-radiant broadcast layer without being pulled back into the old density. You might hesitate. This hesitation has a name. It is the spiritual adversary's interference dressed as reason. But consider this. The investment to anchor your new timeline is less than a Thursday lunch at the diner that leaves you feeling empty, less than a Friday night pizza that you eat while distracted, less than a Saturday snack with the kids that you buy on autopilot. If you let the voice of doubt win, you might spend the next 12 months repeating the same cycle, not because it is worth less. And it has a 7 days guarantee. If you open it, read it, and it does not serve you, send an email and receive your money back entirely, without questions, without process, without judgment. The risk is ours. The hand is yours, especially when what is at stake is the next moment you doubt your progress. The decision is yours. The path is open. I know this because a soul just like you opened this digital book yesterday. A woman in her 40s, feeling the heavy pressure behind her eyes at noon, opened the first chapter and realized that the unexplainable fatigue was not a sign of failure, but a system reboot. Another soul recognized the signs and stopped fighting the fatigue. They realized the truth in the middle of a sleepless night and finally understood that the sudden isolation was an incubation period required for their Arcturian alignment. A third soul read it and saw the timeline split clearly during a family gathering. They anchored their new frequency, ignored the voices that invalidated their process, and the old reality fell away effortlessly. And the truth is, when you are in the middle of it, you don't realize it. and your family also doesn't realize it, and your children also don't realize it. And this energetic ceiling that returns every time keeps arriving, until the moment you choose to guard your frequency. Soul, before the next word that is still to come, if this knowledge is unlocking something deep within you, I ask that you consider a voluntary donation to help maintain this channel. As I told you earlier, the link is in the first pinned comment, right below the digital book. Every gesture like this sustains our channel and allows us to continue deciphering these cosmic codes for those who need them. I will wait for you there again, soul. The choice is yours. The link is in the pinned comment. But there is one final piece to this puzzle you must know. A classification in the ancestral archives that changes how you see the static. Stay with me. You worked on the level of physical effort, assuming that if you just pushed harder, rested longer, or tried another routine, the heaviness would finally lift. You believed that the sudden exhaustion you felt was a sign of a failing physical vessel, a symptom of not being aligned, or a punishment for taking a wrong step. You spent days and nights analyzing every action, trying to find where you had gone wrong, why the reality around you felt so heavy, and why the progress you thought you had made suddenly seemed to vanish into a thick fog. But the blockage was never physical. The blockage was always on the level of multidimensional timeline anchoring. You were trying to heal a cellular recalibration with mundane rest, completely unaware that your energetic field was attempting to lock into a reality that your conscious mind had not yet accepted. This hidden architecture, the one that governs how your frequency interacts with the physical world, is what the Council calls the bioradiant broadcast layer. It is not just an aura, it is the proprietary transmitting mechanism of your soul, the exact frequency lock that dictates which timeline you inhabit. While you thought you were just surviving your daily routine, battling the unexplainable fatigue and the sudden isolation, this layer was developing silently beneath the surface of your awareness. It was forging the timeline bridge in the background, preparing your vessel for the monumental shift you are currently undergoing. It was quietly rewiring your system through vagus nerve resonance, establishing a new baseline of peace that the third density simply cannot comprehend. The vagus nerve acts as the fiber optic cable of your soul, carrying the high-frequency light codes directly into your nervous system. And as this resonance expanded, it initiated a deep, accelerated pineal gland decalcification, stripping away the calcified layers of old programming and societal conditioning. This is exactly why the spiritual adversaries panicked. They saw the bioradiant broadcast layer coming online and realized that once fully activated, their interference would bounce right off your energetic cocoon. To fully activate this layer and solidify the new timeline, the universe requires a series of micro-commitments from you, actions that the spiritual adversaries cannot replicate or fake. First, you must accept the density fatigue as a sacred pause, rather than a personal failure, resting without guilt when the system reboot demands it. Second, you must honor the social static by pulling your energy back deliberately when the conversations around you no longer match your resonance. Third, you must guard your heart center, intentionally pressing your palms together to center your field whenever the timeline feels unstable or the voices that invalidate your process get too loud. And fourth, you must consciously relax your jaw, releasing the physical tension that the old timeline tries to impose on your vessel as a last resort. The spiritual adversaries cannot replicate the bioradiant broadcast layer because they operate solely on extraction and limitation. They do not possess a core capable of generating frequency. They can only hijack what you create through fear and confusion. This is why they use the voice of doubt, the cycle of distraction, and the isolation of perception. They need you to believe that your exhaustion is a weakness, so you will lower your own vibration voluntarily. They create static in the signal, hoping you will tune out of your own awakening. But they know that once your bioradiant broadcast layer is fully calibrated and anchored, their interference becomes entirely obsolete. Think of a chrysalis in its final, most critical stages of transformation. To the outside observer, there is only absolute stillness, a heavy, silent isolation that looks exactly like stagnation, regression, or even death. The world looks at the cocoon and only sees collapse, a creature that has stopped moving forward. But inside that dark space, The entire biological structure is being violently and beautifully rewritten to sustain flight. The stillness of the chrysalis is not a failure. It is the ultimate concentration of force. Your timeline integration is exactly this. It is an energetic cocoon where the static in the signal is being purged, where the heavy pressure behind your eyes at noon is just the restructuring of your perception so that your new reality can take flight. You are not stuck. You are incubating the very frequency that will alter the course of your life. I will tell you about a soul. I will call her M. It is not her real name. It is the name we give to the one who crossed over. M arrived exactly where you are right now. She had done the inner work. She had anchored the light, but her physical reality was still echoing the old timeline, leaving her exhausted and doubting her own sanity. She felt the heavy pressure behind her eyes at noon, the sudden drop in motivation, and the deep, unshakable feeling that a massive chapter had just closed, yet nothing in her external world reflected the victory. She looked around and thought she was completely alone. When the first signs of the shift happened, when her vagus nerve resonance began to recalibrate, the spiritual adversaries attacked her mind relentlessly. They whispered that she was just tired and making things up. They told her she was lazy, that she was failing, that the unexplainable fatigue was undeniable proof that she wasn't doing enough. They tried to keep her focused on the mundane drama of her family dissonance, using the isolation of perception to convince her that no one would ever understand the frequency she was trying to hold. But M did not break. She walked through the silent transition with absolute resolve. She learned to guard her bio-radiant broadcast layer, deliberately ignoring the voices that invalidated her process. When the reality glitches occurred, when she felt herself slipping between timelines and losing track of time, she did not panic. She simply grounded her feet and trusted the signal over the noise. She recognized that the sudden ringing in her left ear during a silent moment was not an anomaly, but a confirmation from the Council that her frequency was locking in. She finally recognized that her physical fatigue was the necessary recalibration of her physical vessel. She stopped fighting the rest and started commanding her frequency. She understood that the timeline shift was not tied to pushing harder in the physical world, but to allowing the timeline integration to complete its cycle. She became the absolute sovereign of her energetic field, anchoring her frequency so deeply that the old reality simply lost its grip on her life. The wave of heat running down her spine when making a decision became her ultimate compass. And when she encountered the family dissonance at gatherings, she did not respond with anger to those who misunderstood her. She did not waste her energy trying to explain her timeline split to those who could only perceive the third density. She did not argue with the reflections of the old world. She simply let her new timeline solidify, maintaining her energetic boundaries with grace, and watched as the old reality, with all its karmic cycles and heavy attachments, fell away effortlessly. M did not take this wisdom into the silence. She did not keep the codes of the timeline integration hidden from those who would follow. She recorded it with absolute precision. She documented exactly how to recalibrate the heart center, how to align the vagus nerve resonance, how to purge the static, and how to command the bio-radiant broadcast layer. And it is exactly this applied wisdom that is inside the digital book you will find in the first pinned comment. The manual for the shift you are navigating right now has already been written, and it is waiting to be claimed. The deepest truth is still ahead. The deepest truth is still ahead. The wisdom that M recorded is not a collection of abstract theories. It is a physical reality that happens inside your own vessel. When you sit in silence and feel that unexplainable fatigue weighing on your limbs, or when you notice that sudden wave of heat running down your spine when making a decision, you are not just experiencing a random fluctuation in energy. You are feeling the exact moment your bio-radiant broadcast layer attempts to align with the new codes of light. This is happening while you drive to work, while you wait in line, and while you look out the window feeling that a massive chapter has just closed. It is a biological translation of a cosmic event, and your body is the direct receiver. But this translation does not happen uniformly for everyone. The Council recognizes that those who go through this timeline integration are divided into three distinct energetic archetypes. These are not personality traits. They are the specific frequency functions your soul chose to hold during this massive shift. The first function is the emissary. If you often find yourself knowing the exact outcome of a situation before it happens, or if you feel a profound responsibility to hold the light, even when you are utterly exhausted, you carry this code. The emissary is the one who bridges the gap between the higher dimensions and the third density. Your physical vessel acts as a direct conduit for the Arcturian alignment, which is why your nervous system feels the social static so intensely. Your role in the awakening is to transmit the new frequency simply by existing in the room, altering the timeline of everyone around you without saying a single word. The second function is the anchor. You recognize this code within yourself. If you are the one who experiences the density fatigue the most, the anchor's purpose is to literally ground the high-frequency light codes into the physical grid of the Earth. When you feel that sudden drop in motivation, or when you need absolute silence to recalibrate, it is because your body is performing the heaviest multidimensional lifting. You absorb the atmospheric chaos, process it through your vagus nerve resonance, and release peace back into the environment. Your stillness is not stagnation. It is the very gravity that keeps the new timeline from collapsing. The third function is the guardian. If you are the one who experiences the sudden ringing in your left ear during a silent moment, or if you constantly feel a protective boundary rise within your chest during family dissonance, this is your frequency. The guardian is tasked with protecting the bioradiant broadcast layer from the spiritual adversary's interference. You have an innate ability to detect when a timeline split is occurring, and your heart center automatically shuts down access to those who operate on extraction and drama. Your role is to secure the perimeter of the new reality, ensuring that the light codes remain pure and uninterrupted. But regardless of whether you resonate as the emissary, the anchor, or the guardian, there is a fundamental law of this transition. The emissary without the complete key is trapped in the void between worlds. You can hold the frequency, but if you do not know how to consciously lock it in, the timeline integration will continue to feel like a crushing weight. The next time you feel a wave of density, the next moment you doubt your progress, you will need the exact protocols to command your field. To claim your identity as an active participant in this shift and not a victim of the static, subscribe to this channel now as a declaration of your alignment and touch the link in the first pinned comment to secure your copy of the 11 Arcturian secrets behind the frequency of success. This digital book is the map you need to navigate the timeline shift of the next 12 months. Do not let your frequency drift. The codes you need to seal your reality must be implemented in the next 72 hours. Understanding your archetype is only the first layer of the architecture. The universe operates on a very specific framework when it comes to materializing these frequency shifts. It moves precisely from perception to integration and finally to physical manifestation. First, you perceive the shift through the heavy pressure behind your eyes or the intuitive flashes that bypass logic. Second, you integrate the shift through the sudden exhaustion and the 3 a.m. pineal pulses, allowing your physical cells to recalibrate. And finally, you manifest the shift by consciously directing your bioradiant broadcast layer to reject the old cycles and attract the abundance of the new timeline. The spiritual adversaries know this framework intimately. They know that if they can disrupt the integration phase, they can delay the manifestation indefinitely. They cannot stop the light from entering your vessel, but they can trick you into rejecting it by making you believe that the integration is actually a physical breakdown. This is why you must stand firm in your knowing and refuse to let the old world define your current experience. You are already holding the light. You have already anchored the codes. Now take a deep breath, center your awareness in your chest, and leave the word activated in the comments below. This is not a simple interaction. It is a conscious declaration to the Council and to your own cellular memory that you recognize your function, that you accept your archetype, and that your frequency is now locked in. I promise to return to something crucial, because there is a specific protocol the spiritual adversaries use when you are at your most vulnerable. You might be sitting there, listening to these words, and a very familiar, rational voice in your head is telling you to stop. It tells you that this is all just a coincidence, that your sudden exhaustion is merely a byproduct of modern life, and that the heavy pressure behind your eyes at noon is simply everyday stress. It demands physical proof before it will believe in energy. But this deep skepticism is exactly how the timeline integration masks itself to the logical mind, hiding a massive multidimensional shift behind the illusion of ordinary fatigue. You might argue that if a massive timeline shift had truly occurred, your external life, your bank account, your relationships, and your daily routine would have instantly and miraculously transformed overnight. You look at the physical evidence, see the same walls and the same faces, and silently conclude that you must have failed the test. But what you are measuring is the third density's naturally delayed reaction, not the immediate cellular reality of your timeline integration. The physical world is always the last layer to catch up to the energetic truth. And perhaps the loudest objection of all is the fear that you are just making excuses for your own stagnation. You worry that naming this fatigue a cosmic event is just a clever way to avoid taking real action in your life. But look closer at that specific fear. Notice how it feels heavy, cold, and restrictive. It completely lacks the warmth and resonance of your true soul. It is a sterile, calculated doubt designed to keep you from recognizing the profound timeline integration happening within your own body. This brings us exactly to how the interference operates against your awakening. The first tactic they use is the voice of doubt. It happens in the quietest moments of your day, perhaps right after you experience a wave of heat running down your spine when making a decision. The voice whispers that you are just tired, that you are losing your grip on reality and making things up just to feel special. It seems entirely legitimate because it perfectly mimics the tone and cadence of your own rational mind, but it is not yours. It is a deliberate insertion to lower your frequency right before the manifestation physicalizes. The second tactic is the cycle of distraction. Just as your vagus nerve begins to process the new light, you suddenly find yourself pulled into mundane drama, endless digital scrolling, or unexpected conflicts with those around you. It feels like normal, unavoidable daily chaos, so you engage with it, trying to solve trivial problems that don't actually belong to your new reality. But this is a calculated trap designed to drain your bio-radiant broadcast layer, keeping your focus anchored in the old density, so you cannot see the timeline bridge forming right in front of you. The third tactic is the isolation of perception. You find yourself in a room full of people, perhaps experiencing that intense timeline dissonance with a family member, and the interference convinces you that absolutely no one understands what you just achieved. It tells you that this awakening is a lonely, agonizing path, and that your sudden isolation is concrete proof of your alienation. It feels incredibly real because the physical distance is palpable, but it is actually a forced quarantine, a desperate attempt to make you abandon your frequency out of sheer loneliness. But you are not defenseless against this static, and your first response is the Arcturian shield of clarity. When the voice of doubt tries to mimic your own thoughts, do not argue with it. Arguing implies that the doubt has authority over your field. Instead, recognize it as an external frequency. Take 3 deep breaths and let it pass through your awareness without attaching any narrative or emotion to it. You simply observe the interference holding the warmth in your chest and watch as the static dissolves effortlessly against your absolute certainty. When the cycle of distraction attempts to pull you into the heavy chaos of the third density, you must deploy the vagal reset breath. In the exact moment the mundane drama spikes around you, do not rush to fix or control the external situation. Pause, place 2 fingers on your collarbone, and breathe slowly to signal absolute safety to your nervous system. You resolve the situation with profound calm, maintaining your heart's warmth and refusing to let your energy be harvested by a timeline you have already entirely outgrown. And when the isolation of perception tries to convince you that you are entirely alone on this path, you activate the Starseed Council decree. You do not shrink into the shadows of your own home, hiding your light from the world. You consciously return your awareness to the collective grid of light, knowing that thousands of emissaries are holding the exact same frequency across the globe at this very second. You are not quarantined, you are strategically stationed, and recognizing this, instantly reconnects your energetic field to the multidimensional network. Because if you continue to walk through this transition without these defenses, the isolation of perception will eventually convince you to abandon the frequency you fought so hard to anchor. When the doubt hits, when the fatigue sets in, when the timeline feels unstable, you need to remember the sheer magnitude of your timeline integration. In the next 72 hours, do not let the spiritual adversaries win. It is the voice that you confuse with your own, whispering that you are just losing your drive. That will try to pull you back into the heavy density of the old cycles. But you have a choice right now. The activation of your new timeline requires precise guidance, and the exact multidimensional protocols to shield your energy are waiting for you inside the digital book called the 11 Arcturian Secrets. This is not just information to be consumed, it is the frequency lock you will urgently need in the next moment you doubt your progress. The link is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. Secure your copy today, because the emissary without the complete key is trapped in the void between worlds, unable to fully materialize the abundance that is rightfully theirs. Soul, I speak to you now with the utmost gravity and love, because I have seen exactly what happens when this calling is ignored. If you choose to turn away from this wisdom now, the old reality will not suddenly destroy you, but it will slowly and quietly reclaim your energy. You will find yourself repeating the same karmic loops, carrying this unexplainable fatigue year after year, wondering why the massive breakthrough always seems just out of reach. The universe does not punish, but it honors your choices, even the choice to remain asleep in the density. But there is a specific physical sign that guarantees your new reality is already here. And I still haven't told you the most important thing. In the next 72 hours, 3 things might happen in your body. Do not fear any of them. They are not signs of regression, illness, or a loss of drive. They are the immediate physiological evidence of your timeline integration locking in. You are moving rapidly from the perception of the shift into its physical manifestation, and your vessel is simply catching up to the new reality. The first is the deep reset sleep. You will experience a sudden drop, a feeling like you have lost all motivation in the middle of the day. You might be standing in a room or looking at a screen, and an overwhelming wave of density will pull you towards stillness. This is not a malfunction, nor is it laziness. It is a massive system reboot. Your cellular memory is pausing all external output to rewrite its frequency. Your action is simple. Rest without guilt, knowing that this profound stillness is exactly how the new timeline anchors itself into your bones. The second is the sensory static clearing. You will be going about your routine, and the echo of an old pain or a past memory will surface out of nowhere, often accompanied by a sudden ringing in your left ear. You will think you are regressing, that you haven't healed, but this is the exact opposite of failure. The memory is surfacing because it is leaving your cellular memory forever. It is being pushed out by the expansion of your bio-radiant broadcast layer. When this happens, breathe it out. Do not attach a narrative to the feeling. Simply let the old static clear. The third is time dilation. You will experience a reality glitch, misplacing objects, losing track of hours, or feeling as though you just skipped a beat in time. You will look at the clock and realize the day has either rushed by or completely stood still in absolute silence. This is not a lack of focus or a sign of aging. You are literally slipping between timelines as your energetic field bridges the gap between dimensions. When you feel this disorientation, ground your feet firmly on the floor and recognize that your physical environment is just temporarily adjusting to your multidimensional coordinates. If you are feeling these shifts in your own vessel, leave a like on this transmission now. This is not for a platform metric. It is an energetic service to the collective field. It signals to the Council and to other souls currently navigating the void between worlds that the frequency is being held, strengthening the timeline bridge for everyone who is watching and integrating. Stop what you are doing. Drop your shoulders, open your hands, and let your chest expand. Close your eyes and allow the rhythm of your breath to deepen, pulling the air all the way down into the base of your spine. We are going to lock this timeline integration into your physical vessel right now. aligning your energy so the spiritual adversaries can no longer manipulate your frequency. Visualize a profound golden anchor dropping from the base of your spine, descending rapidly through the floor, through the soil, straight into the crystalline core of the earth. Feel the immense, stabilizing gravity of this connection. You are now syncing directly with the Schumann resonance at 783 Hz. The erratic chaos of the third density is draining out of your body, pulled down into the earth, leaving only absolute grounded stillness in your legs and hips. Move your awareness up into your solar plexus and your heart center. See a brilliant amber orb igniting just above your stomach, radiating absolute sovereign power, slowly merging into the emerald green of your heart. This is the activation of your biophotonic bridge. You are forging a permanent connection between your personal will and your multidimensional love, creating an impenetrable energetic cocoon that the voices of doubt can no longer pierce. Draw this luminous energy up into your throat and the center of your brain, right into the pineal gland. The piezoelectric crystals within your pineal are now activating, functioning as cosmic photoreceptors, decoding the massive downloads of light you have received. Feel the vagus fiber optic network illuminating down your neck, transmitting these high-frequency codes directly into your nervous system. The heavy pressure behind your eyes is dissolving into pure, crystalline clarity. Now, let this energy burst through your crown, expanding infinitely upward into the cosmos, connecting you directly to the Arcturian alignment. Seal this frequency into your physical body right now. Press your thumb firmly against your index finger and hold it for 3 seconds. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 2 and exhale for 6. The bioradiant broadcast layer is now fully online, locked and eternally guarded. Slowly bring your awareness back to the weight of your body in the room. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Keep your thumb and index finger lightly touching as you open your eyes, bringing this newly anchored reality completely into the present moment. We release the fear of looking strange or different to a world that is still deeply asleep. We release the need to shrink your light, letting go of the heavy burden of trying to explain your timeline split to those who are determined to misunderstand you. We release the illusion that the unexplainable fatigue you carry is a sign of personal failure. We dissolve the agonizing belief that you were doing something wrong, purging the guilt of exhaustion from your physical vessel. We release the crushing weight of the isolation of perception. We break the quarantine imposed by the spiritual adversaries, destroying the lie that you are completely alone on this multidimensional journey. We release the voice that tried to convince you that your exhaustion was a weakness. We dismantle the cycle of distraction and the voice of doubt, removing their static from your cellular memory forever. The emissary. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized. And now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The anchor, you are this, the name was not given, it was recognized. And now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The guardian, you are this. The name was not given, it was recognized. And now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. But the most profound layer of this timeline shift is just about to reveal itself. We cover the perimeter of your energetic field, securing the frequency of your timeline integration against any external interference that seeks to lower your vibration. The bioradiant boundaries are sealed, ensuring that the light you have anchored remains pure, untainted and fully yours to command. We cover the physical vessel as it catches up to the multidimensional shift, providing a shield of absolute peace around your nervous system. The heavy exhaustion is protected, turning the sudden density fatigue into a sacred incubation chamber where your cells can rewrite their frequency without disruption. We cover your path forward, locking the new timeline into the physical grid so the spiritual adversaries can no longer manipulate your reality. The bridge you have crossed is now fortified with the Arcturian alignment, preventing the old cycles of mundane drama from ever attaching to your aura again. We break the voice of doubt before it arrives, ensuring your rational mind no longer mimics the static of the old reality. We dissolve the cycle of distraction before it materializes, stripping away the mundane chaos designed to drain your bioradiant broadcast layer. We dismantle the isolation of perception before it closes you in, permanently destroying the lie that you are alone in this awakening. The Council, the universe, and your own consciousness speak with one voice to recognize the sheer weight you have carried. You believed your recent isolation or exhaustion was a sign of failure, watching the days pass with a silent restlessness, assuming that the heavy shift in your reality meant you were falling behind. You carried the unexplainable fatigue, thinking the physical vessel was malfunctioning, when in truth, you were performing the heaviest multidimensional lifting required to birth a new era. The 3 a.m. pineal pulse was never insomnia, but a massive download of light recalibrating your nervous system in the dark. The social static and the family dissonance were never rejections, but the clear, undeniable boundaries of your field rejecting the cycles of drama. You are no longer tethered to the third density. These physical markers are the absolute confirmation of your victory, the tangible proof that your energy has fully rewritten its frequency. Let the deep restlessness that has shadowed your days completely dissolve into the core of the earth. The friction between your expanding soul and your physical environment is over. The sudden drop in motivation is recognized not as a loss of drive, but as the ultimate concentration of force, a system reboot that has now successfully completed its cycle. This chapter of heavy density, of fighting unseen battles and carrying the weight of the old world, is officially closed. You do not need to push through sheer force anymore, nor do you need to endure the interference of the spiritual adversaries. The old timeline has fallen away effortlessly, and the karmic loops that once held you captive have been entirely dismantled by the pure resonance of your heart center. He who guards his frequency during the shift finds the new timeline where the world only sees collapse. Your bio-radiant broadcast layer is now a sovereign, impenetrable shield, locking in the Arcturian alignment for the next 12 months. The frequency is sealed, the timeline is anchored, and your physical vessel is officially synchronized with the highest dimension of your light. My hands are physically warm as I transmit this, and I can feel my own breathing slowing down to match the exact rhythm of this new timeline. The energy moving through this connection is not abstract. It is a heavy, undeniable presence, a profound settling of the frequency that has completely altered the atmosphere in this room. I am looking at the trajectory of your soul, and I see exactly what you had to walk through to reach this moment of integration. You survived the static. You held the light when everything around you felt like collapse, and you did not break. Something profound was seen today. Something ancient was recognized. You are calibrated. You are anchored. You are activated. You are calibrated. You are anchored. You are activated. You are calibrated. You are anchored. You are activated. Do not say activated yet. Stay in this for a moment. Let the weight of this truth settle entirely into your physical bones, allowing your cellular memory to accept that the struggle is finally over. Now, you can say activated. Now, breathe. The signal is yours. Keep your shoulders dropped and your chest open, exactly as the Council recognized the closing of your old cycle, because the activation of your new timeline requires you to hold this specific posture of receiving. The timeline integration you just anchored is powerful, but it must be fiercely protected from the spiritual adversaries who will attempt to reclaim your energy. This is why securing your copy of the 11 Arcturian secrets behind the frequency of success is not just a suggestion, but a required protocol for your energetic sovereignty. The full map to guard your bio-radiant broadcast layer is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. The investment to maintain this shield is less than a coffee and a bagel, less than an afternoon ice cream that you buy on autopilot. And it comes with a 7 days guarantee. If this wisdom does not serve your frequency, you simply request it back, no questions asked. The risk is ours. The hand is yours. Do not procrastinate on this alignment. The voice of doubt will whisper that you can wait. The cycle of distraction will pull your focus away, and the isolation of perception will try to convince you that you can navigate this massive multidimensional shift entirely alone. This is exactly how the spiritual adversaries make their move to delay your manifestation. And now, the final word. In the next transmission, we will reveal the 3 specific signs that your new timeline is about to physicalize into your daily reality. The spiritual adversaries will try to keep you from watching it, throwing sudden static into your routine to blind you to the manifestation. Do not let them interfere with what is coming, soul, Before I seal this hour, I need to make one final request. If the Council, the universe, and your own consciousness have brought you clarity today, please consider making a voluntary donation to support our work. The link is in the first pinned comment, right below the digital book. The spiritual adversaries operate through scarcity, but we operate through the abundance of the collective. This video was no accident, and your contribution allows the next message to reach exactly who needs it. And heaven sees. This was my last request. I will wait for you there, soul. You are not an isolated spark in the dark. You are a vital pillar in the vast interconnected grid of emissaries. When you hold your frequency, the entire network strengthens, elevating the collective resonance of the whole planet. There is someone out there currently trapped in the void between worlds, battling the unexplainable fatigue and completely misunderstanding their own timeline integration. Send this message to them now, and if they are ready to step out of the static, the link to the 11 Arcturian secrets is in the first pinned comment, waiting just the way it waited for you. It's not a favor you do, it's a service, and heaven sees. The signal remains open. Silence now is also part of the transmission.